Hi, my name's Hayely Lokan. I'm an organisational psychologist and a director at ISC Consulting Group. In this brief video, I'm going to be talking to you about what organisational psychology is all about and giving you some examples of the sorts of things that we would do with organisations on a daily basis. But firstly, what is organisational psychology? Well, essentially, it's the application of the principles of psychology into the workplace. So we're an evidence-based profession, and we draw on the scientist practitioner model to work with organisations at an individual, team, and organisational level. The sorts of things that we would do can vary. Sometimes we're involved in quite reactive solutions with an organisation. Other times we work in the more proactive space in order to enhance and increase things like work safety, job performance, job satisfaction, and so on. So let me give you some examples of the sorts of things that we would do. At an individual level, an example of a more reactive piece of work might be to work with a business to conduct a 360-degree review. Now, a 360-degree review is essentially a feedback mechanism where a leader would get feedback from their direct reports, from their peers, from their line manager, and they would also provide a self-assessment, or they would provide their own feedback as well. Now, this could be triggered perhaps by a leader who isn't performing at the level they need to, or perhaps there's been anecdotal evidence or anecdotal feedback that the team isn't responding to this person's leadership style. So that might then trigger the need for a 360-degree review process where that person could receive some reliable and valid feedback from a range of different sources. A more proactive example of work that we do in this space might involve working with school students in a career guidance capacity. So, for example, we might be involved as organisational psychologists in conducting some personality profiling with the students to help with their self-awareness, to help them better understand their natural strengths, such that they can align their career aspirations where possible with their natural strengths. From a team-based perspective, a more reactive example of where we might work would be perhaps with a team that has undergone significant change or perhaps some conflict in the team. Now, that situation might trigger the need for what we call a team charter, which is essentially where the team works together, facilitated by someone like an organisational psychologist, where they identify the agreed behaviours or the commitments that they'll make in terms of how they'll interact with one another or how they'll treat each other. A more proactive example might be working with a leadership group where there hasn't been any particular issue that has created the need for this training, but it might be around creating a series of shared goals, creating greater alignment, or a sense of mutual accountability, which might involve conversations around what is our vision as a leadership team, what are our indicators of success, what are the things that we're focused on right now, what's most important. And then the third and final aspect in terms of the organisational side of things from a reactive perspective might be looking at a team or an aspect of a business that perhaps has delivered some less than positive results or less than positive feedback. So, for example, if an organisation has recently done a survey, a staff survey, perhaps the feedback results haven't been great, and that might then trigger the need for a more detailed or in-depth review. So an organisational psychologist might come in, do some consultation and gather additional data to understand what's at the root cause of some of the challenges that that group might be facing at that time. A more proactive approach or a solution that we might get involved with perhaps could involve, for example, a competency framework. So we might be brought into an organisation to help them clarify and identify what are the behaviours or the expectations of behaviour across all different levels within that business. That helps an organisation from a consistency perspective around recruitment, performance development conversations, succession planning, but it also helps the individuals within that business to understand what's expected of them at each level so that they can continue to progress their career in a planned and structured way.